Welcome, everyone. My name is Sherold Barr, and I have a very special guest with us today, and her name is Kirsten Steno, and I want to introduce you to her. Kirsten is a Danish interior designer who has helped design the interiors of more than 1,800 homes, companies, offices, hotels in her own heartfelt way. And she's the author of a book called Home with a Heart, which she published in 2008, and it's a self-help book on interior design. And recently, Kirsten has been working with Barr, which is a Danish furniture company that has 260 stores worldwide. And she has been working with their interior designers and their personnel, their sales personnel, to offer a more authentic approach to satisfying their customer needs. And after Kirsten, I'm not sure when you had cancer, but I do want to mention this. I think it's so important. After you had your own bout with cancer, you decided to become a Martha Beck certified life coach, and that's how we met. And your goal was to combine your teaching with what you know about interior design with coaching methodology, which is such a unique thing. And you are really the only global house coach. At this point, you decided to write a book in the last year, and it was a monumental effort. It's a phenomenal thing, and I want to talk to people about that, and that's what we're going to talk about today. It's titled House Coach, and this you recently published this as a limited edition with Barr. They love this book so much that they hired you, and they have sent you all over the world training their staff. And you've had huge groups come and attend your free talks. They're called Trend Talks. And I just find it fascinating. You just recently told me you were in Japan on a tour there. So you've been all over. So I want Kirsten to talk to us today about some of the things that you've written about, and especially we'll talk about what's behind you on your wall. It's one of my favorite things. I have one here because of you on my wall, and my clients do as well. So welcome. I'm so thrilled. I have goosebumps all over actually as I'm introducing you right now. So that's always a sign that this is a juicy little talk. So talk to us about, tell us a little bit about you and your story. It's pretty remarkable.
Well, my story started out like 25 years ago almost when I decided to become an interior designer. Because in Denmark, every second girl in the 7th grade wants to become an interior designer, and so did I. I took a kind of slow start working with few clients, and suddenly I was on television in Denmark, and as you know, television escalates, and all of a sudden I found myself having done more than 1,800 homes, and I was kind of fed up with it. I thought maybe it's time to pass this on to younger people, but then I discovered that there was a new approach to interior design that I liked very much, like creating homes with a heart, an empathetic approach to interior design. So I started listening to people when they told me about their home. I actually knew that they were telling me more, that they were telling me about their home and their life. And then I discovered this poem by Anne Lamott, and when I saw it, it kind of changed my life. I'll recite it for you. To love yourself as you are is a miracle, and to seek yourself is to have found yourself for now. And now is all we have, and love is who we are. So I saw that poem, but I didn't see the word you. I saw the word home. So when you exchange the word you with home, I saw that it's a metaphor. And suddenly everything that I have done for the last 24 years makes sense to me. That I was actually helping people to get the life that they wanted, and we use their homes to get there. And then I said to myself, okay, I had my own bout of cancer, like I said, 2 years ago, and I read a lot of self-help books. And in the margin of all of the self-help books I wrote, I want to become a house coach. And I said to myself, what do you mean about house coach? It's like a house coat, very comforting, very private piece of garment. You may have, like stained eggs on the sleeve and a little chocolate marmalade. You don't want to show yourself to the public in the house coat. Mm-hmm. But I want to become an interior designer that is as private and it's safe to let me into that very sacred place where you're private. So I said, okay, I got the house part covered. I know about interior design, but I don't have the coach part covered. And then I saw Martha Beck on TV on the Oprah show, which we get in Denmark as well. And I thought, wait, I'd like to become one of her life coaches. So like the bumblebee who doesn't really know it cannot fly, I forwarded an email, and 3 days later, I was on a call with Martha Beck. And I was not the only one. There were 10 other people who wanted to become a Martha Beck Life Coach. And she talked to me about house coaching and said it was kind of brilliant and that she wanted me to become one of her students. So I did. I studied for a year, and I failed my first exam, and then I called Sherold because I was panicking completely. And she helped me really get through the exam and the fear of all that. So because of her, thank you very much, because of you, Sherold, I am now a certified Martha Beck Life Coach. I don't think I would have done it without you.
Oh, you're so sweet. We have such a special connection.
We do.
Because of that, and then because I know you, and it's just such an amazing thing. I have tears in my eyes too, to meet people like you around the world, and here I am in the U.S., and there you are in your country, and it just, the world's so much smaller now. It's so fabulous. So thank you. Yeah, and so you became, but then it started right after you became a coach.
Yes, it started.
You're
Then
real right.
I figured out a way. I was very inspired by the body compass of Martha Beck, and I thought, well, there's more to it than that. And I discovered that I could make my own kind of tool, which is the Pathfinder Vision Compass book that I have behind myself. So I just pinned out like a small business card from Bow Concept, and I pinned it on one of the things that I wanted. And a week later, actually, I met the CEO of Bow Concept, not knowing it was him, at a trend talk in Denmark. And I just, kind of gave it all because I'm very enthusiastic about my passion of house coaching. And he approached me after the talk and he said, can you write a book with us, and can you make a tour around the world? And I wasn't wearing my glasses, so I couldn't really see him clearly. I have contacts now. And I said, who are you? And he said, I'm the CEO of Bow Concept. We have 260 stores around the world. And he gave me the business card, and he said, can you call me on Monday? And I thought, wow, this tool is really, really powerful.
Yeah, you are a massive manifester. That's why we're going to touch on what you've done behind you, because that was 1 week.
That was 1 week.
1 week.
1 week. And
after
then also,
you pinned it
I thought, I'm going to write this book for them. I asked my family during the weekend if it would be okay for them if I would tour the whole world with a book, because I love my family and I actually love my life as it is. So didn't want to jeopardize the kind of new fame. And they just, cheered me on and said, send us a postcard and make sure that when you get home, that when we open the door, we will not find you scratching. You have to save some energy for us. And I promised them that. Yeah. So that's what I do. So I'd like to explain the Pathfinder Vision book for you.
I love that. And so that we can, I've used it too, and things on my board are coming true. It's just a very important thing to put it in a visual. So walk us through it.
Okay, I'll just walk up and I'll talk a bit louder. Maybe you can see, can you see me?
Yep, I sure can. Perfect.
Okay, this is the whole wall. And what I do is I create a line first. This is an increasing line.
I'm going to put my glasses on.
+2, +4, 6, 8, till 10. This is how it works. It's very simple. But actually, you start out by asking some questions first on the negative side.
So you've got like a baseline. What did you do? Put a line across. 0 is neutral?
0 is neutral.
Okay.
So I try to explain very short how it works. That when I have a client in front of me, and then I ask them, can you please talk to me about a regular day, something that will never be, remembered. It's just a normal day. And I can use my own examples, like waking up in Denmark, there is no sun. We have that a lot. So that's just an unmemorable day. And there is something on TV I've seen, 3 or 4 times before, Dancing with the Stars, maybe the 3rd time. It's like, I'm yawning a bit. It's an okay day, and I don't really do much. I forget about it.
Yeah.
That's a 0. It's not bad, and it's not good. And then if we start asking questions, we go to the negative side first, because that is also the only thing that distinguishes us from animals. We have discomfort. And discomfort is telling us that we are off track. It's like hot track or cold track. So when we go to a -2, that will be a day when it's raining, you maybe have a little toothache, you have a meeting you don't really want with your accountant or something. It's not a day you look forward to, but it's something you keep to yourself. And a -4 day would be a day you want to share with someone. Like someone really cancel a meeting in the last minute and you had to rearrange another meetings, or you have an argument with your spouse, or there is something wrong with the house and it turns out it's going to be very expensive to fix it. It's like a bad day and you call someone to talk about it. And
I'm just grinning because we had a $10,000 sewer expense we didn't know we had in the house we're remodeling.
I think we're getting closer to -6 right now.
Oh yeah, that was a bad day.
That's a bad day. And it is a memorable day. It's the day actually you can tell about, years from now.
Right.
A -6 day, you have to call, a life coach or a very good friend, or you start praying. Something is going on and it scares you. And that's what happened when I got my own cancer diagnosis. And it happened, when I had someone I loved dearly and he was breaking up with me. It was not that I was dying because of it, but it was very bad and I will never forget it.
Right.
And a -8 is when someone you love really much is a risk of dying, or really, like my son when he had the cancer diagnosed. Thank God he's healthy now, but when he had the diagnosis, it was really a -8 day for me.
Yeah.
And
how old is he? How old is he?
He is 20 years old.
So that's so extraordinarily young. And then you and I have the same connection because my son was 28 when he had a life-threatening diagnosis 2 years ago. And I think it's extraordinary that you've been doing what you've done with such faith and such manifesting and such positivity to help him through that process. It's amazing.
I was surprised myself. I thought I would break down, but I didn't.
You didn't.
I had trained for it.
I think you did train for it. And I believe I trained for it as well.
Yes. You practice gratitude, you can. Because every time that you have something bad coming at you, your brain will open the door to what could be worse, and thank God it's not that.
Exactly.
My brain could have opened the door to this is terror, but it didn't. It just opened the door to the room of gratitude, and that is training.
Yes.
So -10 could be, for instance, dying, and you're not ready for it, or saying goodbye to someone you're not ready to say goodbye to. It can also be dying to self, like I had a client who couldn't really speak up when we got to the -10. He was really crying silently because he said, I died when I was a young boy because my mother sexually abused me, and I had to die to self in order to survive.
Wow.
So it can be dying in any way that you're not ready to do. So we go to the worst place and then we shake it off and then we go back slowly to 0, because we all know what's bad in our lives and we don't want to forget it. It's what we grow from, but we don't have to live with it anymore. We can say goodbye to it and then go from 0 to 10 to the +10, which is increasing and lovely. So a +2.
So is this a process you sit down with your clients and go to say, because it's very much like coaching, what isn't working in your life? What do we need to eliminate or make better? So is that the reason you kind of go through that with them?
It is, because I want to teach them at the end that if you have a bad day, you can do good things to eliminate the feeling.
Perfect.
It's a choice you have every day, because of course we do have bad days.
Yes.
But what can we do on these bad days to jump into the positive and sunny side of
Shake
life?
it up, like you said. It's fabulous.
So +2 would, of course, be a sunny day in Denmark. They're so rare. I love the sun. And it can also be a day that I have a good hair day. Just, when I blow dry it and suddenly it's full of hair and it looks nice, it's a good day for me. Or maybe I buy new shoes or something. It's a really nice day. And a +4 day would be someone I call someone again. I have to tell them about it. It's like the day that I met the CEO of Go Concept. I had to call my husband and say, you never imagine what happened. And a +6 day was the day that the doctor told me that the cancer was gone from my son's brain and spine and that he would be absolutely fine. And a +8 would be the day when I published my first book in Denmark, and at the same day my husband proposed to me, which is kind of hard to beat that day.
Well, that's a mega day. It's like a +20. That's pretty
And the plus
amazing.
Sunday, I hope, will be when I'm old of age and that I die in my sleep and Jesus will come and get me. And my mom and dad or whoever I love and
Right.
all my dogs will be there waiting for me. This is when you're ready to die.
Yeah.
But dying to self can also be when I'm deeply rooted in music or when I'm very creative, when I'm writing or when I'm painting or something. I
Yes.
forget myself. Actually, I die to self.
Right.
And also when we give birth to our children, these are the days when we die to self. We become second from that day forward. So now that we know what -10 to +10 is, we want to live in the 0 to +6, which is actually doable. The +8 are the benefits that life sometimes throws at us. It's not everything that we can control, but we can actually control the 0 to the +6. So what I put on the board is that I put images of the +2, the +4, the 6, the 8, the 10, because this is what I want in my life. I've asked myself the question, what makes my heart sing? What makes me happy? And for me, it's walking in nature. That's +2. So, of course, I have something about the sea, the ocean, and some lovely stones, and about writing and listening to the ocean. So being in nature is very important to me. That can make a really bad day can be better just by being near the ocean. And then +4 is actually traveling. I love traveling to south of France or alone to England, and what I'm doing right now is beautiful with the Trent Talks. And being with my husband is a +6 for me because we travel so much both that when we are together, we try to make a +6 out of it. And then being creative, and the next book, the spiritual book that I'm working on, is right now at the +6, +8.
Oh, that's great.
And then I have the bold concept, the interior designers. I feel deeply privileged that I can teach over 1,000 interior designers how to create real homes for real people with a lot of love.
Yeah.
And then I have a dream to create home ministries like churches that they can help people come home. I'm working on that now. And then I have my beautiful son, his healing process, and I have like getting old. It's not optional, but it's, when I sort of say it's beautiful. Growing old is inevitable, but feeling old is optional.
I love that. That is a fabulous
something
thing.
About the girl, she's running up here. Recently, I was in New York doing Trend Talks. I had a tour on the East Coast in America, and they installed me in an apartment on the opposite side of New York in New Jersey.
Oh.
And I bought those running shoes in Hollywood a couple of years ago, and I just pinned it up here to tell me that I wanted to be fit. It had nothing to do with the scenery. So I put that up, and then I was running in New Jersey, and suddenly I realized I was running exactly the same spot as this girl is running. She's running in New Jersey. I could recognize the buildings.
Oh my gosh.
So when it dawned on me, I was almost screaming, and people thought that I was crazy. And I was photographing my running shoe with the skyline of New York behind me. And this is how powerful it actually is.
That is so powerful.
It is.
So did you put any photos up there that show the feeling of how you want to feel? Are there photos up there that just, or do those generate the feelings also? Is there, when you take it into the felt sense? Can you talk about that?
When I meditate in the morning, I do yoga in the morning, and then I sit on this floor and I look at the wall. So when I'm meditating, I'm just taking in the gratitude of all this being possible to me. Wow. And I know it's all possible.
Yes.
I don't know when, and actually I don't know how. I just know that it will happen.
Wow.
When it is good for me in the synchrodestiny of life that I really trust myself into.
That's incredible. So you focus on that every morning.
Yes.
And then
when I'm home.
When you're home. So that's beautiful. So people can do that, and then they would just start. And actually, I'm going to include underneath this video, I will include a photograph of that. Give some tips on how, again, the line.
They would actually start out with a neutral day, and then what makes me a little happy? What makes me happier? So happy that I call someone.
Mm-hmm.
And what makes me is happy that I will never forget the day.
Okay.
What are the high points of my life? And what do I actually do when I forget about myself, when I die to self?
Yes.
Do I sing in the shower? Do I sing gospel? Do I run? Do I take care of my kids? Do I cook? I
Yeah.
know many women who, when they bake cakes, like died into self. It's like the cupcakes, something is happening to them because it's being created with something that is nurturing as well.
Right. And that's in a certain kind of brain state too. I know creatives, and I used to do a lot of art, and it was this, I don't know how to describe it. It's being very right brained. It's very much over there instead of in my left brain chattering.
It's
Yeah. It quiets
it's like
down a little
permission
bit.
to play. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, because I know that there are many. I'm very fortunate. My mom was a mess. She was a politician, and she never forced me to clean up my room before I could play. So we could always play at home and then clean up afterwards.
Yes.
But I have many friends where their moms were like, their professional life was a housekeeper or homekeeper,
Yes.
and they told their girls, you have to clean up your room before you can go out and play.
Right.
Which means they hate having stuff around the house. They hate dusting because that's not permission to play.
Wow.
And that's a lot of what I talk about in the book, the desperate housemakers or homemakers.
Oh,
It's really when you feel free, when you walk outside your home, and you
right.
feel like in captivity when you enter it.
Right. So, what is one tip you might leave us with? If there's a place in our home we're not thrilled about, or any tip out of the book, what would you like to
Yes.
share? Just share
Uh,
something.
well, the best way you can do is actually photograph it. If there is a room you're not comfortable with and you don't know why and what's happening, take a lot of photos. And then when you got it printed out, you will trick your brain. Or you can look at the room through a mirror, because when everything is turned around,
Uh-huh.
you're tricking your brain. You're seeing objects for objects and room for room.
Wow.
You're not seeing it all. So when you have it photographed, you take out 3 pens, and then you tag the things that you really love, the things that you want to keep for life, something that really is important to you, that makes your heart sing.
Yes.
You circle that. And then you can do it with red. Red is love. And then you have the green one, which is, I'm not sure. Would I keep it now, or do I save it for later? Could I put it in some personal storage, or maybe not give it away? That's the green one. That's the one you're a bit uncertain of. And then you circle with black things you see on the photo that you're done with. You don't longer need it. You don't need it anymore. You just circle it with black. And when you look at that, you know exactly what to let go of, because we all have excessive stuff.
Yes.
We don't know why we keep it. It's just there because we have the space.
Yes.
And by space clearing that, by taking things out that don't longer need to be there, and even taking that when you're not certain of, and store it somewhere and outside your home, you are left with the things that you love.
Yes.
And
That's a
that
beautiful.
gives you energy. And then you go on Pinterest, which is my best thing. If you don't know it,
And you have a Pinterest board. Can we
Yes,
send them over there? Okay, and
yes.
I'll link it here and there so we can go and see your Pinterest board.
go in there. It's what we all seek in the whole world is love, peace, harmony.
Mhm.
We look for it in how we live, in who we date, and what we work with, and what we eat and what we do. So love, peace, and harmony is thousands of people sharing it on Pinterest. And you just go in and find images of what makes you happy. +2, +4, +10, whatever. And then work on that.
Mm.
And then ask the room and ask yourself, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of this room? Because I thought maybe this room would be a guest room. And then this room said to me, no, it's not what I want. I want to become your sanctuary, your soul oasis. Oh, I said, okay, let's do that.
Wow. That
And
is
people
beautiful.
will think that a room was supposed to be the bedroom. No, it's not.
Right.
Because it's supposed to be the kitchen.
Wow. You know,
Yeah.
I think that is so wonderful what you just said to do. And I've been studying prosperity, and prosperity, you know, in terms for manifesting for my money class. And one of the keys in prosperity consciousness and attracting a prosperous life is to do exactly what you said, is to go through and get rid of things that don't need to be there. They're taking up space. And anytime you want to attract something new in your life, You have to clear the space to make room for it. And I think that's beautiful. And then Marion Woodman, one of my favorite Jungian analysts, said, and I'll never forget this, it mirrors what you said. She said, does this object bring you beauty? Does it do something, it's bring you this feeling? And if it does, then you keep it. If it's time to let it go, let someone else get beauty from that object.
Oh, yes. Give it away, like pay it forward.
Yes, pay it forward.
Yes.
Because we do have so many things. I might have to bring you back at some point to talk about home, because both Diana, who edited both of our books,
yes,
she just moved, and we're still remodeling. After, it might be 7 months for sure by the time we're done. Our process has been very much body compass, which you talked about, and I would just love to have a discussion with you about that and how important it is for us to use our body compass. I used it for me when we picked this house.
Yes.
Because my rational brain is still arguing with me about, is this the right decision? Is this the right decision? Mm-hmm. And my body, as Martha says, the body never lies. Martha Graham says that too, a famous dancer. And it's true, the body never lies. And that's why using the body compass. So I think I'd like to bring you back at some point and we talk more about the body and the senses and home, because it's a really beautiful topic. And can you share what the name of the next book is, or what is your next book about before we wrap up here?
The next book is, Folk Concept wanted a book that is real, which it is, but they weren't really interested in hoarders or moving seniors around because they're not their focus group, and I understand that. That's why I made a limited edition. So I have something about desperate home workers, people working from home, and all the challenges we have by creating our own office and how to get what we want out of work. Yes. When we're also having a home, I talk about the transit keys that take us off from work, and I talk about moving seniors, and I use my own mom as an example. She was living 45 years in the same house with my father. He died, she stayed, and suddenly the house was just too big for her. And how can you install a woman that is 75 in a small, very modern apartment, and she will not be lost?
Right.
I have ways of moving elderly people so that they are still at home, and even have ways how family and friends can help them move.
Now that's really brilliant. That's very cutting edge, because there is research after you move a very elderly person, they don't live as long. So this is really a needed, necessary thing. Yes. Especially with the aging population. So your next book is going to be very infused with soul. I know that about you.
It is.
I can't wait.
The working title is The Power of a Soul-Filled Home, because you feel in the soul.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I just think I cannot wait to read it. And I just want to, we will put a link to this book, and if people will be able to order it. It's not sold in bookstores here yet, is it, or Amazon?
It's sold in all the Book Concept stores, so they just have to contact me, and where they live, I will find the nearest concept store and make sure they send it.
Okay, I just highly recommend it. It's just it's an amazingly fabulous book, and it's just the start of something so unique for you, and I'm so happy to have you. So thank you so much, and what we'll do is we'll give everyone contact, how to reach you, and perhaps have some questions for you too.
They're always welcome to forward me an email and ask me a question. I'll be happy to answer.
Fabulous. Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you doing this today. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.